anything now, no.
Okay, then feel free to take a seat.
Okay.
Is there anybody in the audience who would like to speak in favor of this application? Is there anybody in the audience who would like to speak with questions, concerns, or opposition? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and open up the deliberations of the board. Thoughts from the board? Mr. Neely.
I'm in favor. This is pretty straightforward. This is exactly the same footprint as what is there. There's no way with the proximity to the creek that he could build anything different than what he's trying to do. Conservation Commission, and we don't see this very often, had no recommendations, besides the fact that a favorable recommendation, but there was no additional requests. He did sign the wetland buffer encroachment affidavit, so pretty simple, straightforward.
Any other thoughts? Yeah, I would agree. It's about as straightforward as they come. Anybody like to make a motion? Mr. Boucher.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the special exception for Brock and Barbara Putney, owners of 3 Creek Place, Unit 113, Sheet F, Lot 32, requesting a special exception from Land Use Code, Section 190-12, to work in a 40-foot wetland buffer greater than 9,000 square feet to remove and replace an existing 10-by-10 deck with a new deck same size as in the R18 zone, Ward 1. The requested use is listed as a special exception in the use matrix 190-112. The requested use will not create undue traffic congestion or unduly impair pedestrian safety. The requested use will not overload any public water, drainage, or sewer system or any other municipal system to such an extent that the requested use or any developed use in the immediate area or any other area of the city will be unduly subjected to the hazards affecting health, safety, or the general welfare. The wetlands special, the wetlands buffer encroachment affidavit from Land Use Code Section 119, sorry, from 190-115 has been fulfilled. Also, the requested use will not impair the integrity or be out of character with the district or immediate neighborhood in which it is located, nor be detrimental to health, morals, or welfare of the residents of the city. And also will note that this application received a favorable recommendation from the Conservation Commission on June 3rd of 2026. With that, I make a motion to approve the special exception.
Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Lionel. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Your request is granted. One thing I should have noted earlier, that all decisions of the board are subject to a 30-day window of appeal. So seems unlikely there's no opposition, and you are free to proceed. That's a very good point. It was just brought to my attention that we did have a few folks come in after I made my prior announcement. So just in case you were here for one of those cases, the case at 34 Buck Meadow Road for a request, that was a request for a variance and special exception, has been postponed until the meeting of the 28th of July. So if you did come in for that meeting, it has been postponed. And the application for the parking lot at 247 Main Dunstable Road has been withdrawn. So if you did come in for those, you have the rest of the night off. All right, so I'm now going to read the next case that we'll be hearing. This is the application of James and Brenda Stewart, 10 Ohio Avenue, requesting a variance from Land Use Code Section 190-264 to exceed the maximum accessory use area, 40% permitted, 60% proposed, to construct a new 12 by 22 shed and garage. And you look like you must be the applicants. If you wouldn't mind coming forward to the microphone and just give your name and address for the record.
This is James and my wife Brenda Stewart at 10 Ohio Avenue.
Please speak up and make sure you're talking into the microphone.
Okay.
You can take it off the stand or raise it up, however is
That's okay.
most convenient.
Requesting a variance for a 12 by 14 shed. What is it? It's right here. It's a 14 by 22, I'm sorry. But at this time, I have a 10 by 14 little Rubbermaid shed in my yard, and we've certainly outgrown it. But I did buy a new 14 by 24 shed from Reed's Ferry, and what I want to do is put a cement pad down and put that shed on top of that and put my new toy in it. There's going to be no electricity to it, no plumbing, no heat, no nothing. I just want to put it at the end of my driveway, and when I get done driving my car around the city, I just want to go and park it in the shed and pull the door down shut, and that's it. Everybody in the neighborhood seems to approve of it, and it's going to match this house that I live in.
Anything else you'd like to add?
No, that's about it.
Questions from the board? Seeing none, you're free to take a seat.
Thank you.
Is there anybody in the audience who would like to speak in favor of the application? I do note that we do have one letter. This is from Mr. and Mrs. Hardy at 11 Ohio Avenue, saying they confirm knowledge of the variance being sought and have absolutely no concerns with the change.
Second one.
Oh, there's a second letter. We have a second letter. This is from Mary Levine at 27 Indiana Drive. I have no objection to James and Brenda Stewart at 10 Ohio Avenue requesting a variance for construction of a shed and garage. I think that is the only one. Thank you. So, is there anybody in the audience who would like to speak with questions, concerns, or opposition to the application? Seeing none, we're going to close the public hearing and open up the deliberations of the board. Thoughts from the board? Mr. Neely?
So I'm in favor of this application. So when you look at what they currently have there for a driveway, it's not like they're going to have to widen the driveway. It almost looks like there should be something there. We hear about Reed's Ferry all the time, so we certainly know the quality of what's going in there. They're going to eliminate the small plastic shed that they have, and we do have the letters in support from some neighbors. So for those reasons, I support the application.
I agree, and I would just add, kind of, looking around the neighborhood, obviously a lot of people have sheds, other accessory buildings, pools, and these are relatively small lots, so it's tough to meet the accessory use requirement. In this case, I don't think it would be out of character. Other thoughts? Would anybody like to make a motion on this one?
I'll do it.
Mr. Lionel?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the variance application from James and Brenda Stewart, 10 Ohio Avenue, Sheet H, Lot 36, requesting variance from Land Use Code Section 190-264 to exceed maximum accessory use area, 40% permitted, 60% proposed, to construct a new 14-foot by 22-foot shed or garage. This is in the R9 zone, Ward 7. The board finds that granting the variance would not be contrary to public interest because this, first of all, replaces an existing smaller shed at the end of their driveway. One of the issues, and we have comments from one of the neighbors saying that they don't object. We believe the spirit of the ordinance would be observed. The accessory use limit is there to prevent lots from being cluttered, but if this shed or garage was attached to the house, then there would not be an issue. But because it's a separate structure and a small lot, then that's when the accessory use limit comes into effect. Granting the variance would do substantial justice because it would allow the homeowner to use the new shed / garage to park their car. We have no evidence that values of surrounding properties would be diminished. We did have one letter in favor from a neighbor. And owing to special conditions of the property, again, as a small lot with a larger house, there is not a fair, substantial relationship between the general public purpose of the ordinance and the specific application of the provision. So for all those reasons, I making a motion to approve the variance.
Is there a second? Second by Mr. Patry. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Your request has been granted. Good luck with your project. Good night. Next is the application of Joshua and Elizabeth Zellers at 38 Roy Street, requesting a special exception from Land Use Code Section 190-112 to work in the 75-foot prime wetland buffer of Salmon Brook to remove an existing deck and construct a new one that's 20 square feet larger than the previous one. And I'm guessing you're the applicant.
I am, thank you. Joshua Zellers, 38 Roy Street. We are replacing the original deck from 1986 that has completely fallen apart and was poorly constructed in the first place. I'm surprised it lasted this long. Basically, almost the same exact footprint, a total increase of 20 square feet over what's already existing. Basically, moving it a little bit so that the downstairs window is not blocked by the deck anymore, and that's about it.
Questions?
We
from
did have the Conservation Committee come and do a site visit, as well as 2 meetings with them, which they approved at the last meeting.
Questions from the board? Anything else you'd like to add?
No?
Then feel free to take a seat.
All right, thank you.
Is there anybody in the audience who would like to speak in favor of the application? We do have a couple of letters that I will note. First is from Janet Valuk at 41 Roy Street. I'd like to submit my letter of support for Elizabeth and Joshua Zellers to remove their old deck and build a new one at 38 Roy Street. And we have a letter from the Percivallis, and this is: we at 36 Roy Street want to express our full support in the Zellers at 38 Roy Street's project for constructing a new larger deck on their property. Unless I'm missing one, those are the ones we have. Is there anybody in the audience who'd like to speak with questions, concerns, or opposition to the application? Seeing none, we're going to close the public hearing and open up the deliberations of the board. Thoughts from the board? Mr. Boucher.
I'm in favor of the application. I think it's pretty straightforward. Again, the request is just really to rebuild a deck and add very little square footage to the deck, which is reasonable. And again, he explained exactly why he needed to do that. And again, this abuts some conservation land in the back, and the difference in size deck would not, you will not be able to see it, no one's going to be affected by it. So I'm going to support the application as requested.
Other thoughts? Mr. Neely.
Due to the close proximity of the wetlands behind, we've seen multiple projects on the street. Nobody can do any projects in that corner unless they come for a special exception. So I'm not aware that we've denied any of them, and certainly the Conservation Commission did a good job and gave the 5 points that they're asking for as well when they gave a favorable recommendation, so I'm in favor.
And I would just add that even with the increase, the size of the deck is certainly very reasonable. Would anybody like to make a motion? Mr. Boucher.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the special exception for Joshua and Elizabeth Zellers, owners of 38 Roy Street, sheet 107, lot 16, requesting a special exception from Land Use Code, section 190-112, to work in the 75-foot prime wetland buffer of Salmon Brook to remove an existing deck and construct a new one that is 20 square feet larger than the previous one. It's in the RA zone, Ward 6. We find that the requested use is listed as a special exception. We find that the requested use will not create undue traffic congestion or unduly impair pedestrian safety. We find that the requested use will not overload any public water drainage or sewer system or any other municipal system to such an extent that the requested use or any developed use in the immediate area or any other area of the city will be unduly subjected to hazards affecting health, safety, or the general welfare. There is no special regulations to be fulfilled in this case. The requested use will not impair the integrity or be out of character with the district or the immediate neighborhood in which it is located, nor be detrimental to health, morals, or welfare of the residents of the city of Nashua. And again, with that, we are, with this application, we're we're going to, it was a, where was it, right here, sorry.
I'm always fumbling for it,
Yeah,
too.
we're going to stipulate that the approval of the Conservation Commission, favorable recommendation, had 5 stipulations, and we are noting that those will be part of this approval. So with that, I make a motion to approve the special exception.
Is there a second? Second by Mr. Patry. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Request is granted. Good luck. Next is a request from the Humane Society for Greater Nashua Corporation. Harvey Construction is the applicant at 24 Ferry Road, requesting the following variances from Land Use Code Section 190-108C8:1. I'm sorry. First, to allow 2 wall signs where one is permitted in lieu of a ground sign. 1 ground sign exists. And 2, to exceed the maximum wall sign area, 6 square feet permitted, 68.7 square feet proposed. This is in the R18 zone in Ward 2. And you are here for the applicants.
Hello, I'm Kim Pishka from Harvey Construction, and this is Doug Berry from the Humane Society. So our proposal is to provide 2 signs on our construction project. One is the Humane Society animal logo that will hang over the timber framing that is going to be added to the project. And the other is the words Humane Society for Greater Nashua on the building. Anything else? Yeah. We're not touching the existing sign that's out by the road. That will remain as is.
Do you want to maybe just speak to some of the reasons why you're making the request?
We are adding a large addition to the existing Humane Society right now, and with the larger building and project, the Humane Society is going to be able to have more people attend, so having some additional signage that states the logo and the name of the business will just make it a little bit easier to see. It is pretty set back from the road, so it's not in your face, but it just makes it a little bit easier to see as you're driving up the driveway.
Anything else you'd like to add?
We've been in New Hampshire and Nashua since 1900, and there's still like a lot of people who don't know who we are. So I want to make sure that our building is visually apparent and that people know that that's the Humane Society.
Questions from the board? Mr. Boucher?
It appears from your technical drawings that this is not an internally lit sign, it's just block letters on the wall.
Correct.
Is there any lighting on that sign, or is it,
The animal head logos that are in the timber framing, we're planning to have like a light above shining down on
Okay.
the logos.
right,
So it also really lights underneath the canopy as well.
sure. But the Humane Society of Greater Nashua, that won't have any lighting?
Non-illuminated.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mr. Lionel?
And just to confirm, I believe what's said in here, there is no change to the ground sign that's actually on Ferry Road.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Neely?
And so I know it's a 10,000 square foot addition. What's the size of the original building?
It's about 9,500 square feet.
So we're doubling it?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the clinic, are you guys opening the clinic like 24/7, or is that just during the same business hours?
Just during the same business hours.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? Anything else you'd like to add?
I don't think so.
Feel free to,
Thank you.
feel free to take a seat. Is there anybody in the audience who'd like to speak in favor of this application? Is there anybody who'd like to speak with questions, concerns, or opposition to the application? We do have one letter, which is in opposition, which I will read. This is from Julie Blackwell at 9 Hideaway Road. Dear Planning Department, I object to the Humane Society's proposal to drastically increase the size of the permitted sign. Their organization is surrounded by residents. Thus, I believe a sign of the proposed sign would not conform well to the surrounding neighborhood. If they were building on Amherst Street, for example, I could understand a large prominent sign to compete with other commercial businesses. In a residential neighborhood, they are not competing for attention. Additionally, a shelter is not a spontaneous visit. because someone is attracted to a sign. As someone who has adopted a pet from their facility, you only visit such a facility if you are actively seeking a pet or donating to one. Unfortunately, I'm unable to attend tomorrow's hearing. Please accept my comments. Would you like to respond to any of those comments?
This woman is actually been complaining about the entire project. I was cutting down too many trees, not very happy with that happening. But also, the sign faces Ferry Road, and she's over on Hideout. She's not even going to see the sign. So I really think that that's, it's unreasonable.
Some of the comments were just related to, why do you need to sign if it isn't spontaneous? These aren't spontaneous visits, they're planned. Could you maybe just speak to that?
Sure. There are people that drive by that see our sign and actually come in and say they've never been here. Many people do that. And I think, as I said to you, we've been here since 1900, and so many people still don't know that the Humane Society is on Ferry Road, that I think it's a way of showing people that we're here, we're providing low-cost services to them, and they should come in.
Any other questions from the board? Seeing none, all right, unless you have something else to add, you're free to take a seat.
No, gentlemen, thank you.
All right, given that, I'm going to close the public hearing and open deliberations of the board. Thoughts from the board? Mr. Lino.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with the Humane Society location. I've been there several times. There is a really small, fairly small sign right on Ferry Road. It's actually easy to miss. But what they're talking about is not a wayfinding sign, as we often deal with, but simply once somebody enters the complex of the Humane Society, being able to figure out where to go, because they're adding services and there'll be more than, perhaps more than one entrance. It's very similar to what I've seen at other shelter locations, so I'm in favor.
Mr. Boucher.
Also, I'm in favor also, and this is, on paper, it's a large ask, but again, as Mr. Neely spoke about and asked a question, it's on a double size of the building. The Humane Society of Nashua is not lit, so I think it fits in with the scope and the size of the building. So this is not like it's true, on Emma Street we have signs and stuff, but they're usually lit, and there's usually a reason, there's pylon signs, there's all kinds of reasons why they need more sight line to see the business ahead of time. Again, I think they have every right to be able to identify their business, and I think this is being done very respectfully to the neighborhood that it's in. So I'm going to support the application.
The thoughts from the board? I just add that I agree that although the ask does seem large, given the scale of the building and this overall size of the site and how far it's set back, it really seems reasonable. It's a long-established use. I also think about kind of what else is in the area. I know, Pennachuck Middle School and their sign, which is pretty large, in front of the building, for obvious reasons, right? You need to identify the use, so I'm in favor. Other thoughts? Would anybody like to make a motion? Mr. Neely.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the variance for the Humane Society of Greater Nashua Corporation owner, Kim Pieska, Harvey Construction applicant, 24 Ferry Road, Sheet G, Lot 39, requesting the following variances from Land Use Code Section 190-108, subsection C, subsection 8. Number 1, to allow 2 wall signs where one is permitted in lieu of a ground sign. 1 ground sign exists. And number 2, to exceed maximum wall sign area 6 square feet permitted, 68.7 square feet proposed. This is in the R18 zone in Ward 2. Granted, the variance would not be contrary to the public interest in that they are going through a large doubling of their facility, taking it from about 10,000 square foot facility to about 20,000 square foot facility. It is very normal in Nashua for a facility of that size to have that amount of signage or more. 68.7 square feet is not a large number. The spirit of the ordinance would be observed. As noted by the members of the board, this is being tastefully done with primarily a lit symbol for the Humane Society, with a couple of the signs going on there to really mark the correct doors for folks to go into. It is in the Humane Society's best interest to have the public going into the proper doors rather than wandering their facility. And when you double it, they're obviously adding a few extra doors, and it makes sense to have those doors properly marked. Granting the variance would do substantial justice in that, as noted, the sign there at the street is not lit. It is relatively small for this type of facility, and having the lit signage on the walls on a building that is set way back from the curbside in a relatively dark area is good for wayfinding. What we didn't talk about, but should be part of this, especially in the winter months, these folks will be open in dark winter months, and I think it is critical that these signs be lit up on the board so that customers can find it, as well as folks who are new to go to the clinic, which looks like that's a new entrance. We have no reason to believe that the values of the surrounding properties would be diminished. As to unnecessary hardship, as I noted earlier, the building is doubling in size, and it is not out of character to have this amount of signage on a 20,000 square foot building. In fact, we often see quite a more amount of signage square footage, as well as a number of signs requested. It was noted by the applicant that they do have folks that miss their facility when they're trying to visit, because it is a small sign at the curbside, and it is not in a well-traveled area. So for those reasons, I make a motion to approve the variance.
Is there a second? Second by Mr. Patry. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Application is approved. Good luck. Next is the application of John A. Kustis Revocable Trust, John A. Kustis trustee, at 3 East Dunstable Road, requesting a variance from Land Use Code Section 190-264 to exceed the maximum accessory use area, 40% permitted, 49% proposed, to construct a 993 square foot addition to an existing carriage house. It's in the RA zone in Ward 6. And I presume you are here to speak on behalf of the applicant.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, good evening. Andy Perlman, attorney with Prunier and Perlman here in Nashua. Mr. Chairman, members, I have a very straightforward case for you tonight. You've seen these requests before where we exceed the 40% accessory structure threshold. I'm here on behalf of the Kuntz's Revocable Trust. John Kuntz's is with us tonight, should you have any questions for the owner. We have, in addition to the existing carriage house, the addition is 993 square feet, with the existing carriage house plus the shed, and then the addition where it puts us over the 40% allowance by 384 square feet. You have our application. Just to touch on the criteria very briefly, we don't believe this application is contrary to the public interest. We're not going to be changing the character of the neighborhood with the addition of the carriage house. Folks, I know you folks like to take drive-bys. The carriage house itself is you can see it from the street, but just barely. Plus, if you're going down East Dunstable, you tend to be moving along, so you barely even notice that the carriage house is even there. It's well hidden behind the trees and the shrubs out front. We believe we will observe the spirit of the ordinance because the carriage house will continue to be a secondary and accessory use to the property. We believe that substantial justice is here for the applicant. We don't see any adverse impact to the city or the neighborhood. We don't believe we have any impact to property values. We have 2 letters of support from the 2 neighbors most impacted on Catherine Street. We don't believe we're going to have any adverse impact on surrounding property values. And finally, we have a larger than usual lot in the neighborhood. I provided the GIS maps. You can see 3 East Dunstable is the largest lot in the neighborhood. And then there are 2 other landlocked empty parcels directly behind and to the side of the Kuntz's property, also owned by John and his wife Diane. under different entities, but altogether, we have a very unusual and large lot in this section of Nashua. So, Mr. Chairman, maybe the fastest variance case I've presented, so I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions from the board? Seeing none, anything else you'd like to add?
Thank you.
Is there anybody in the audience who would like to speak in favor of the application? As noted, we do have 2 letters, which I'll read into the record. The first is from Ruthie Lyons at 6 Catherine Street. I've been a neighbor of John and Diane Custis at 3 East Dunstable Road for 43 years, with the back of my property abutting the side of theirs. I've seen the architectural plans for the proposed addition to the garage/carriage house, and believe your approving this request will allow the property to be improved while still respecting the surrounding neighborhood. I'd like to go on record that I'm 100% in favor of the application. The Custis home and property are aesthetically pleasing, et cetera, and I believe the proposed project is reasonable and fits in well with the character of our neighborhood. I feel it will only enhance nearby homes and property values. The second letter is from Cynthia Gale at 4 Catherine Street. I've been a neighbor of John and Diane Custis at 3 East Dunstable Road for 22 years. The back of my property butting up to the side of theirs. John has shown me the architectural plans for the proposed addition to his garage/carriage house, and I believe you're approving this request will allow the property to be improved while still respecting the surrounding neighborhood. I'd like to go on record that I'm 100% in favor of the addition. The Custis are wonderful neighborhoods, their property is aesthetically pleasing. Similar thoughts. I believe the proposed project is reasonable and fits in well with the character of our neighborhood. It will improve the property and will not have any negative impact on my views or sunlight or create any safety concerns. I feel it will only enhance nearby homes and property values. I ask the board to approve the variance. Is there anybody in the audience who'd like to speak with questions, concerns, or opposition to the application? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing and open up the deliberations to the board. Thoughts from the board? Mr. Patry.
This seems pretty reasonable. It's a pretty minor addition. I don't see a reason to oppose it.
Any other thoughts? Mr. Neely.
Yeah, so as Attorney Perlman noted, it's really hard to see that building from the road. I mean, unless you know what you're looking for, you can't see it. It's hidden behind a row of trees there. Oversized lot. We have letters from the neighbors who actually can see the building from their direction from Catherine. And it just reminds me that we approved on the corner of East Dunstable and Burnett, number 1, not too long ago. We put a much larger building in a much smaller space. So I think fair is fair when it comes to this. So that I have no reason to not support the application.
And agree, and I just also add that, having looked at the architecturals, and it was also noted by both of the people putting letters of support in, but that they really are very consistent with the architecture, making it even more compatible with the character of the neighborhood. Any other thoughts? Would anybody like to make a motion? Mr. Patry.
Sure. I move that we approve the application of the Johnny Custis Revocable Trust, Johnny Custis trustee, for variance from Land Use Code Section 190-264 to exceed maximum accessory use area of 40% permitted, 49% proposed, to construct a 993 square foot addition to the existing carriage house. We find that granting the variance would not be contrary to the public interest because the addition would be a minor encroachment and would not disturb the neighborhood. We find that the spirit of the ordinance would be observed because this would be an unobtrusive addition and would maintain the use of the carriage house as a secondary use. We find that granting the variance would do substantial justice because it will allow the applicant to more fully utilize the property while respecting the character of the neighborhood. We find that the values of the surrounding properties would not be diminished as the addition is likely to add to the value of the Custis property. We find that owing to special conditions of the property that distinguish it from other properties in the area, denial of the variance would result in a necessary hardship because there is no fair and substantial relationship between the general public purpose of the ordinance provision and the specific application of that provision here, because this is a large lot and is larger than other lots in the area, and there's no relationship between strictly applying the requirement here and the fair use of the property. And we find that the proposed use is reasonable because, again, the unusual size of the lot in the neighborhood and the minor and obtrusive effect of the addition. So for all those reasons, I move we approve the variance.
Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Lionel. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Application is granted. Good luck with the project. Next is the application of David Bertrand, owner at 203 Kinsley Street, requesting a variance from Land Use Code Section 190-16E1 to exceed maximum driveway width, 22 feet existing, 24 feet permitted, an additional 12-foot by 6-inch feet proposed off of New Dunstable Road for a total width of 34 feet 6 inches. You are the applicant.
Yeah, David Bertrand, 203 Kinsley Street. And I'm put a variance in for a driveway in the back of my house out to Main Dunstable as opposed to continually going out on Kinsley Street. And going out Main Dunstable is going to be a lot safer egress and ingress, I'm pretty sure. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, it's self-evident. I moved in 1995. I put a variance in 97 for the garage, and I put a garage door there with that very intent to go out to Main Dunstable. And I have used it a few times, but I just haven't paved it or cemented it yet, so I'm looking to do that.
Anything else you'd like to add?
No, it's pretty straightforward, I hope.
Questions from the board? Seeing none, so you're free to take a seat. Is there anybody in the audience who'd like to speak? Sorry, go ahead.
I'm thinking paving. I got some quotes for paving, but I might do cement. Would that change anything for this
No.
area?
No.
Thank you.
Is there anybody in the audience who'd like to speak in favor of the application? Is there anybody in the audience who'd like to speak with questions, concerns, or opposition to the application? I do not believe we received any letters on this one, so unless I'm mistaken, I'm going to close the public hearing and open up the deliberations of the board. Thoughts from the board? Mr. Boucher.
I live in the Bishop Girton neighborhood, so I travel up Lund Road, and I go that way if I'm going downtown a lot. So I'm very familiar with this area. One of the things, obviously, the homeowner didn't talk about, but speeds are more than what the speed limit is there. Most of your traffic is going down Kinsley Street. Some of it's veering off to the backside of the street there. So obviously, anybody living on Kinsley Street, especially when they're close to the highway where the hill comes down a little bit and they're sweeping around the corner, the speeds are much faster. So I think definitely having a second driveway on the backside is reasonable to have, definitely reasonable to have. So I look at it mostly safety, and I think that's basically it for me. And again, it's reasonable. Property's unique because it has frontage on 2 streets. And again, it's the second house in from the point. So again, I think it's reasonable, and I'll support the application.
Other thoughts? I just echo your comments and just note that, just rode my bike there by that corner recently, and I think it's definitely a safety concern. To your point, cars really do come flying down Kinsley there, and I could certainly see nervousness in wanting to, especially back out of that driveway. Nothing I would want to do. I support the application as well. Thank you. Unless there's any other discussion, maybe I'll take this one, since I think I'm the only one who hasn't yet. So I'd like to make a motion that the application of David Bertrand at 203 Kinsley Street, requesting a variance from Land Use Code Section 190-16E1 to exceed maximum driveway width, 22 feet existing, 24 feet permitted, an additional 20 feet 6 inches proposed off of New Dunstable Road for a total width of 34 feet 6 inches be approved. We find that granting the variance would not be contrary to the public interest. It would not pose any threat to public health, safety, or welfare. In fact, it would enhance, I think, public safety for both the owner and the area. And it would not be inconsistent with the character of the area, since you have the two, you have the frontage on two different streets. It would be consistent with the neighborhood. Again, we've noted, with the spirit of the ordinance, noting that it would be consistent with the character of the neighborhood. And again, no injury to public health, safety, or welfare. And also, I think the spirit of the ordinance is really to avoid overly large driveway entrances that appear more like parking lots. In this case, the additional driveway width is actually on a different street. Granting the variance would result in substantial justice. Clearly, it would be a safety benefit to the owner. We have no evidence that there would be any negative impact to surrounding property values, and there is an unnecessary hardship. The special conditions of the property being that it is a double frontage lot. Given the fact that the additional driveway width is proposed on a different street, on the street to the rear, there is no fair and substantial relationship between the general purpose of the ordinance and its application to this property, and it is a reasonable use. So for those reasons, I make a motion to grant the variance. Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Boucher. Any discussion? All those in favor? And your request is granted. Next, we have the application of Robert Speziferi, hope I said that correctly, at 2 Candia Street, requesting a variance from Land Use Code Section 190-16E2 to exceed maximum driveway width, 19 feet existing, 37 feet 10 inches proposed, with the proposed extra driveway width located 10 feet away from the front property line while maintaining the existing curb cut opening. And you must be the applicant.
I am. I'm Robert Speziferi at 2 Candia Street. And as it says, I wanted to widen my driveway. I have 2 kids at home that shouldn't be at home, but they're at home, and there's 4 cars and a truck, my work truck, that got assigned to me. So I park on the side a lot, and then I gotta come out and I move the cars a lot. There's no on-street parking. So I was gonna, I think I have to be 20 feet up. I was looking to see if I could come 10 feet up on that record and pave it from there over.
And you say, I think the reasons are obvious, but could you speak to kind of why you can't go 20 feet back?
Could you repeat that?
I guess I wouldn't even ask you to, because it's pretty obvious from the location of the house, but you can't go 20 feet back as required because of the position of your house, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Any other questions from the board? Anything else you'd like to add?
No, sir. I think it's pretty,
You can feel free to take a seat.
thank you.
Is there anybody in the audience who'd like to speak in favor of the application? We do have one letter. I'm Stephen Tardif and my wife Elaine, and we live at 1 Candia Street across from 2 Candia Street. We have no issues with the homeowner's improvement. I think what they have done is great so far, is a great improvement compared to the previous owners. Is there anybody in the audience who'd like to speak with questions, concerns, or opposition to the application? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing and open up the deliberations of the board. Thoughts from the board? Mr. Lino.
Yeah, I mean, normally, I'm not a big fan of super wide driveways, but I do appreciate the applicant, first of all, applying for the variance, such an unusual thing nowadays, and the design where, there is that swoop, which a lot of people do, so they don't widen the curb entrance, but they're going to landscape it, and it'll look pretty nice. I am in favor of the application.
Other thoughts? Mr. Neely.
So this house is kitty cornered, and so if you look at it and they'd moved it and it was facing straight towards Candia, he would have the room to do what he's trying to do. He was set up for failure here with the direction of the house, so. We talk all the time about not widening driveways, and one of the things we always ask them for is, well, what if you wrap it around the side of the garage? This guy's doing everything he possibly can to comply with that, so I'm fully in favor of this. I don't think he has another option. You can see on the grass where he's parking already. This is actually gonna beautify that whole area, so I think it's a win-win for everybody.
Yes, I would agree. You look at it, there really isn't another option. It's the fact that it's a corner lot and the way the house is skewed. Any other thoughts? Would anybody like to make a motion? Mr. Boucher?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the variance for Robert Stezzaferri, owner of 2 Candia Street, sheet H, lot 282, requesting variance from land use code section 190-16, subsection E, subsection 2, to exceed maximum driveway width, 19 feet existing, 37 feet 10 inches proposed, with the proposed extra driveway width located 10 feet away from the front property line, while maintaining existing curb cut opening, R9 zone, Ward 2. We find that granting the variance would not be contrary to public interest, again, because I believe that the character of the neighborhood would be maintained, and there are other large driveways in the neighborhood. We find that the spirit of the ordinance would be observed. Again, it would, in essence, maintain the spirit of the ordinance for the curb cut opening without widening it, even though he's looking to come in a little bit on the side. Granting the variance would do substantial justice, again, because the homeowner now will be able to park the vehicles he needs to park without having to widen the existing curb cut and accommodate all the cars for his family. We find that the values of the surrounding properties would not be diminished. We find that owing to special conditions of the property, that distinguish our properties, that variance would result in necessary hardship, because again, as noted, the house is kind of at a kitty corner. It's kind of the position of the garage and where the exits and driveways would be kind of a little difficult to achieve anything but what he's proposing. And we find that, again, the proposed use is reasonable, again, because it maintains the curb cut and maintains that visual curb cut opening. So with that, I make a motion to approve the variance.
Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Lionel. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Your request is granted. Good luck. Next is the application of Matthew and Tessa Feehan at 121 Lily Road, requesting the following variances from Land Use Code Section 190-16, Table 16-3. 1, for the existing Lot B-969, to allow the existing house to encroach 5 feet into a 20-foot required right side yard setback. For proposed Lot B-9691, the minimum, from minimum lot size, 18,000 square feet required, 10,807 square feet proposed. And 3, minimum lot size frontage, minimum lot frontage, 100 feet required, 71 feet proposed. 4, minimum lot width, 120 feet required, 71.3 feet proposed. And 5, for minimum right and left side yard, moving on to the next page. Setbacks, 20 feet required, 10 feet proposed for both. All requests to subdivide one lot into 2 lots and construct a new single-family home. This is in the R18 zone in Ward 8. And I presume you're here for the applicants, or are the applicants?
We are. A lot of variances.
Would you mind just stating your names and address for the record?
Yeah, so good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Matt Feehan. This is my wife, Tessa. We live at 121 Lily Road here in Nashua. We lived there for 7 years. And want to thank you for, reviewing our application tonight. So we're requesting, obviously, to approve or subdivide our property into 2 residential lots so we can build a modest single-family home for our growing family, which we plan to reside in indefinitely. From the beginning of this process, we tried to design a proposal that fits naturally with the neighborhood while keeping as much open space as possible between sides. Our property sits at the edge of 2 zoning districts, so R18 and R9, and is surrounded by mixed lots, small and large, along Lily Road. There's actually 2 lots on Lily Road, 6 houses down, that would be equivalent to the same size as the one that we're proposing. And we designed this lot to closely reflect the development pattern of that adjacent neighborhood. Our current home no longer meets the needs of our growing family. We've gone to numerous open houses in Nashua and surrounding towns. We've met with contractors about adding a second story onto our house. We've searched for available residential land within Nashua, but there's only, right now, as of this morning, land available in industrial areas or commercial areas. And we believe that this proposal gives our family the opportunity to remain in the neighborhood where I grew up, and we would love to continue raising our family. One point we'd also like to emphasize is that while the submitted buildable area that you see is 50 by 90, we don't intend to build anywhere near that size in terms of width. So the current concepts that we're looking at right now are a max of 36 feet wide and roughly 50 feet in depth to maximize that side yard space and reduce the visual impact on neighboring properties. We believe this proposal presents a reasonable use of the property, respects the character of the surrounding neighborhood, and satisfies the intent behind the variance criteria. Thank you so much for hearing us tonight, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that you guys might have.
Questions from the board? Mr. Lionel.
I admit I'm confused about this, about your saying that the current house no longer meets your needs, and you're going to build, what, a smaller house?
We built a new house in the new lot. We have a 2-bedroom right now with a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old, so they share a bedroom. So we plan on having 1 or 2 more kids, so we just need more space. And so we met with contractors about, adding a second story on, but it wasn't practical for a long-term solution for us.
And could you not expand the house horizontally since you have the space?
We certainly could. That's definitely on the table, but the proposal that we have here today is certainly option A for us.
I'm concerned because, one of the, we need to find that the 5 points of law are to be met, and one of them is inconsistent with the ordinances, but it plainly, you're in the R18 zone and you want to build an R9, you want have an R9 lot. Yes, it's at the edge of the boundary between the two, but I'm struggling with this, so I'm being interested to hear what other members of the board have to say.
Other questions from the board? One of the things that you noted in your application was that what you're proposing, I don't want to paraphrase you incorrectly, is not dissimilar from some of the other lots in the area. Could you just elaborate a little more on that point and maybe to what degree these lots would be consistent after subdivision?
Absolutely. So 108 and 110 Lily Road. So 108 is 0.248 lot size acres, and this would be the same size lot as our proposed lot. So it's 6 houses down, it's on the same road, and there's 2 houses, so 108 and 110. So 110 is about 0.25 acres, which is roughly, what our proposed lot will be as well. So although our new lot is gonna be a little bit narrower, we wanna build a narrower house because we wanna minimize impact, obviously maximize yard space, and just be, as close to compliance as possible.
Thank you.
Sure.
Other questions from the board? Anything else you'd like to add?
I think the only other thing that I would add is if there's concern between the distance between houses in the neighborhood, the current house, there are other houses within the neighborhood that would be the same distance between houses as our proposed new house, so it wouldn't be uncharacteristic.
And we are absolutely open to the idea of additional landscaping needs, fencing to preserve privacy and overlook with neighboring properties.
Okay, any other questions from the board? Unless there's anything else you'd like to add, you're free to take a seat.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody in the audience who would like to speak in favor of this application? Please come forward.
Good evening. My name is Karen Dapkus. I live at 111 Lily Road with my husband, 5 doors down from Matt and Tessa. and I've been there since 1986. Sounds really old, huh? But 40 years, and it's crazy. My kids grew up on Lily Road, and many times they still call it home. It's that kind of neighborhood. They roamed Bicentennial Elementary School with Matt and his siblings, and Lord knows what they did over there, but whatever. My son wanted to stay in the district so bad. He looked for 3 years to buy his house, and he bought a house on Monica Drive. I know Matt and Tessa feel the same way. They love the area, and that's where they want to stay, and that's why I'm here, so to try and get that. Our house is 5 doors down from theirs. We're heading into the cul-de-sac. It was built in 1969, so it's been there for a long time. I measured last night. My neighbor's house is 28 feet from the edge of my garage, so it's closer than what they're proposing in their thing tonight. So I just want to make sure that everybody knows that's how the neighborhood is. That's how it's been for more than 40 years. And I hope that you'll see it that way and their plan fits into the neighborhood. Thank you very much.
And I apologize for missing it. Could you just give me your address again?
Yeah, 111 Lily Road.
111. Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else who'd like to speak in favor of the application? I'm going to note, we did receive some letters in favor. I seem to be missing them every once in a while, so hopefully I have them all. So the first one is from Bill Dopkus, and addressed to the zoning board, noting that he grew up on Lily Road, has been a resident here for 25 years. I currently live a few minutes away and have always appreciated what makes the neighborhood great. Knowing the positive experience, I'll always support thoughtful opportunities to add more housing in the market where it's become increasingly difficult to buy or build. He notes that the opportunity to expand housing options and welcome more families in the area is rare and should be given careful consideration. He believes the applicants have taken a thoughtful and responsible approach and that it's consistent with the character of the neighborhood. Next, we have a letter from Amy and Mark Dupree at 122 Lily Road. I'm writing as a neighbor at 122 Lily Road about the variance of Matt and Teresa Fian are asking for. I am for everything that they would like to do with their land. I think that a variance should be approved for them. They are wonderful neighbors who keep their dwelling and yard top-notch. Please approve what they are asking for. Have a wonderful day. And then finally, a letter from the Chaputs at 116 Lily Road. We are writing to express our support for our neighbor's application to subdivide their property and construct a new home. As neighbors at 116 Lily Road, we've had the pleasure of meeting and becoming friends with Matt and Tessa, and have always found them to be thoughtful, respectful, and responsible members of the community. They take pride in their property and are considerate for those around them, and welcoming to all those in the neighborhood. Though variances are required, we believe their proposal is reasonable and appropriate use of their property and will be a positive addition to our neighborhood. Based on what we know of the project and of the family, we're confident that they'll complete it with the same care and consideration they've always shown. We appreciate the zoning board's careful review of this application and respectfully ask that you give it favorable consideration. I believe those are all the ones that we have in support. Is there anybody in the audience who'd like to speak with questions, concerns, or opposition to the application? Sir, please feel free to come forward. Come up to the microphone. Oh, okay.
My name's Mary Jo Tedder. I live across the street from the proposed land, and I'd like to say, as much as it's been a stressful decision for me, but it concerns me because all the properties up on that area, which used to be called Poets Hill, was 1/2 acre, and this proposed situation will take this property across the street down to 1/4 acre. And that concerns me because I'd like to know how this will change my property values.
Could you give us your address?
Pardon me?
Would you mind giving us your address?
118 Lily Road.
Thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Pardon me?
Is there anything else that you'd like to add?
No, I would not object to an addition to a home or to a second story, but to put a home between the two buildings, I just question how much it would affect my property values.
Very good. Thank you. Sir?
Good evening. My name's Kevin Morrissey. I'm at 119 Lily Road, right next door. Thanks for the opportunity to speak tonight. We respectfully oppose the variance request at 121. This isn't just a small setback. This isn't just a small setback request or minor change. The request is asking for several variances to split one conforming R18 lot into two lots that would be non-conforming. We bought our home with the expectations that it would remain within the proper zoning requirements, and weren't expecting another house to be put in between. Purpose of the R18 district is to maintain larger lots and preserve open spaces between homes and prevent overcrowding. Approving these variances would create two lots that don't meet either either zoning. We are concerned that this proposal would change the character of the neighborhood, creating a smaller lot with a home that sits closer to the street and reduces the open space that defines our neighborhood. We also don't believe that there is an unnecessary hardship. The property already functions as a conforming residential lot with an existing home and continue without any variances. Finally, we are concerned about the impact on the surrounding neighborhood. While people may have different opinions about the property values, this proposal would clearly change the established layout and feeling of our street. We purchased our home expecting that these zoning standards would be maintained. Thanks.
And you did submit a letter, and we have received that as well?
Yeah, we did, yep.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Is there anybody else who wishes to speak? Sir?
All right, I am Fred Goforth. I live at 123 Lily Road. My family and I have been there for over 20 years. And the proposal for 121, excuse me, should be not, denied because it does not satisfy the legal standard required for a variance. Approval would result in an undersized, narrow, and overcrowded lot that is inconsistent with the intent of the R18 zoning district and incompatible with the established character of the neighborhood. That's really all I can say about it. I bought into this area almost 22 years ago because of the setback, the space between the buildings. And here's someone, that's all I'm gonna say. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
And I did submit this.
Yes.
Yes, we have.
Thank you.
We did receive your letter.
Oh, thank you.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is William Barry. I'm a practicing attorney with Barry and Honoro at 161 Kinsley Street, Nashua, New Hampshire. I represent the direct abutter, Kevin and Kelly Morrissey of 119 Lily Road. I agree with everything that's said by the opposition, and further add that the owner is requesting 5 variances for a simple potential lot subdivision. I often eat lunch and watch Channel 16 and watch your programs to educate myself, to find out what's going on in the city. And your dedication to the rule of law is really impressive. The first variance for the subdivision is this lot into 2 lots, with the remaining lot being 10,800 square feet. The purpose of dimensional standards in zoning code is to maintain a cohesive, uniform neighborhood that people can rely upon when buying and building a home. The proposed variance request completely undermines the purpose of the lot size requirements in R18. The proposed lot B969-1 is out of character with the R18 neighborhood lot size requirements. That it is close to the R9 zone is irrelevant. For the lot, the owner has not identified one special condition which must come from the property itself to grant the variance. The only condition is that they need relief from the zoning map requirement of R18, and that is not a special condition. A special condition would be a steep slope, if it was a corner lot, if there was an odd road frontage, there was wetlands, there was a large easement, it was an overly large lot for the neighborhood. Not one special condition for this lot exists or has been identified. Nothing from the application would give you cause to find any special conditions. In fact, the owner's special supplement says that this lot is a large, flat side yard, rectangular and completely square. In the court's will in this board should see the application for what it is. It's a variance request seeking to allow a subdivision purely because it would be profitable to the owner. It is not an economical convenience, is not a hardship. There are no special conditions of the property. The owner's lot is like all other lots in the R18 zone. Now, there are 4 other variances. There's a lot width variance, a lot frontage variance, and 2 side yard variances. The purpose of dimensional variances for lot width, lot frontage, and side yard setbacks is to prevent overcrowding and encroaching upon neighbors, to keep the sight lines between the lots, for open space, and to keep the additional variances conflict with the spirit and intent of the dimensional requirements. What is the special conditions? They're looking to cut down by 50% the side yard setbacks between my client's lot and the proposed subdivision lot. That should not be allowed. They're looking for a frontage variance where 100 is required, 71 is proposed. What is the special circumstance of the lot to vary from the dimensionals? They're looking for 71.3 variance where 120 is required. Your variance application says that the granting of a requested variance will not be contrary to the public interest. The proposed use must not conflict with the explicit or implicit purpose of the ordinance. R18, 18,000 square feet, 20-yard setback, 100-foot frontage, 125 back frontage. They're all in violation. The proposed use will observe the spirit of the ordinance. The proposed use but not be in conflict, explicit or implicit, with the purpose of the ordinance. The purpose of the dimensional requirements of a lot in this zone is clear and unambiguous. This is an economic request. I pondered 2 questions to you. My client is at 119. The applicant is at 121. If we drop a house in there, where's 911 going to respond to? What's the number? Because the R18 zone had its requirements and R19 zone had its requirements. You folks have read enough plans. The Meridian plan is quite cute. They didn't place a driveway on this lot. They didn't place a house on this lot to show you just how crowded and now the character of the neighborhood when you drop that plan into this.
Attorney Barry, you are coming up against your time. If you could just wrap up.
I will, thank you. Our 108 Lily Road and 110 Lily Road is an R9 neighborhood, and what their side yard setbacks and the likes is irrelevant to the R18. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who'd like to speak with questions, concerns, or opposition? Seeing none, you have the opportunity to come back and rebut any of the comments that were made. You have up to 5 minutes.
There was one more letter.
Oh, there was one letter. I apologize. Hold on 1 second. I missed a letter. So, sorry. I'll just read this one into the record. This is from Richard Jackson at 3 Shakespeare Road. I'm writing to inform you that I strongly object to this proposal. The Bicentennial neighborhood is considered by many to be the most desirable neighborhood in Nashua. There is more than one reason for that. But
The writer did speak.
Jackson?
Yeah.
Jackson did?
Jackson
I don't think
did.
I don't believe he did.
No.
No, okay, no,
Sorry.
sorry, never mind.
So I'll continue, noting that one of the reasons is the relatively wide spacing between the houses, giving it a very open feel. Trying to cram a second house into this lot does not fit at all with that. This is evidenced not only by the fact that the new lot size is only 60% of the required lot size for this zone, but the left and right setbacks are also cut in half, and the right setback for the existing house will be reduced to only 15 yards, I think it means feet. The two houses will only be 25 yards apart. Again, I think we means feet. So he goes on to note that the existing setbacks are not met. This would also set a very bad precedent. If you permit this, how would you refuse the next applicant that wanted to do the same thing? And again, he believes others will coming, et cetera. So generally, he opposes this type of housing densification. And I'm paraphrasing. So now you're free to come forward, and you have up to 5 minutes to provide any responses that you wish.
So as far as a money grab, this is far from it. This wasn't our first thing in mind. Like I said, we had met with contractors. We got 3 quotes for a second-story addition. Was not practical for our family at the time. We've looked at numerous open houses. We've tried to find land for sale within Nashua, and none are available in our neighborhood that we'd like to stay in. As far as cramming and overcrowding, we intentionally reduced the size of our proposed house plan. It's not on your plan, but for the record, we'd like to say that the max width is going to be 36 feet wide, which will be a 20-foot setback on the 119 Lily Road side, so it will be in compliant with R18. And our existing house will nearly be compliant with R18 minus the encroachment of 5 feet, but it meets all of the other, width, frontage, et cetera. As far as devaluing property, we certainly understand that that is a concern of our neighbors. This proposal is for a single-family home in a neighborhood that's already full of single-family homes. We don't believe it's going to negatively affect surrounding property values, and there's no evidence that I could find, at least, that has been presented or on the internet that says so as well, or within the city of Nashua. We understand that we're short on the R18 requirements. And that's exactly why we're here today, presenting to you guys. Rather than trying to maximize the site, we're intentionally designing this proposal to closely resemble the surrounding neighborhood. And like we said before, 108 and 110 Lily Road, which are 5 houses down, would be the exact same lot size. And we're not trying to build a wide house, we're just trying to sort of go with the landscape of the proposed lot. As far as the character concerns that our neighbors have, we respectfully believe this proposal does fit the neighborhood. Like I said, it remains a single-family home that we would like to live in indefinitely for the rest of our lives, so our kids can go to Bicentennial just as I did. We're not changing the use of the property. We're only requesting relief to create 1 additional residential lot. I think that's all I have. You want to add anything? This is far from a money grab. I just want to put that out there. We're thinking of our family first. We've explored all other options, and this is, option A for us, and it's the most practical right now for our family.
Thank you. Now, as I mentioned earlier in the hearing, we do provide the opportunity for someone who spoke with questions, concerns, or opposition to the applicant, to the application, to come forward and essentially have the last word. It is only one person who spoke with questions, concerns, or opposition. So if you'd like, we would give you a moment to deliberate amongst yourselves to decide who that may be. If you already have a good idea who that may be, then that person can certainly step forward. Of course, you don't have to. It's a choice. Thank you. All right, with that, then, I'm going to close the public hearing, and we'll open up the deliberations of the board. Thoughts from the board? Mr. Neely.
So a case like this where you have folks in opposition and in support from the same neighborhood is one of the worst-case scenarios that, in my opinion, we end up with. To have gotten to this point, it is very tough. I will tell you, when I did a drive-by of this neighborhood, first of all, I love the view, but it is a really neat neighborhood. As these folks, everybody up here, everybody who has spoken and written a letter has great pride in this neighborhood. And what we have heard tonight from folks is that a big part of why they're in opposition is because of the size of the lot. It's an R18. They all have this, same amount of setback, same basic lot sizes. They're relatively oversized compared to some of their neighbors as you go further up the road, as we heard. My thought process when I did the drive-by was, because it's right on the line of the R9 and R18, like, I could get on board with this if there was no neighbor opposition. And boy, did that change tonight. I think we got that one letter earlier today in opposition, and then came into some more letters, as well as folks who came in to speak in opposition. The fact that it's both neighbors as well as a person right across the street in opposition, I probably cannot support this application because they're the ones most affected. And while we don't have any specific data on real estate value, I know that's certainly their concern. We heard it from one of the folks who spoke. But to fill in that yard with another house is going to change that view, specifically from across the street. And I get it, the folks at 119, like, there's a house a lot closer. I know we just heard from the applicant that they're willing to move it to 20 feet away, but that's not what we have in front of us for the application. So I'd like to hear what the rest of the board has to say, but I don't think I can be in support at this time.
Mr. Lionel.
Yeah, I drove by, and it is indeed a beautiful area. I think one of my first thought when I was reading the application is, why does it not fit their long-term needs? Okay, it's a two-bedroom house, which I admit I did not look at the assessor's card to see if that's actually the case. It seems a bit odd to me, but expanding the house horizontally into that space that they want to build into is a viable option. It may not be the one they want. Sometimes we have an application where there is a reasonable alternate approach that would not require a variance, and we've insisted that that be done. I can't support this just because it's more convenient to them to build another house on a small non-conforming lot in their neighborhood. And I understand and sympathize with the neighbors in opposition that it does change the character of the neighborhood to have denser housing where there wasn't before. And if you look at my past voting record, I've generally been against splitting lots, especially in the more, and even especially in the denser neighborhoods. But we would typically approve a split lot with minor setback or lot line encroachments of variances if it's an oversized lot for the area. And it is not. It's the same size lot as the surrounding ones in the R18 district. So I can't support this.
Other thoughts? Mr. Patron.
I'd say that I really appreciate what the homeowners are trying to do, and certainly understand that they want to stay in the neighborhood. Ultimately, for me, I'm opposed because I just can't find something unique about this property that would justify us granting the variance. I can't see that there's a legal reason that would allow that justification, so I'm opposed.
Mr. Boucher?
I also, in the same position as my members, co-members here. I think the only thing for me is, again, I could only get there if the appearance of the street, the width was there, and it really was a depth issue. Because of something unique about the property, it would be that depth issue. But I think, again, what was said, for me, it really hits home tonight with this application. And I do appreciate, again, the homeowners trying to stay in the neighborhood, and we all know how housing is so tight, and I appreciate that. But I think, and again, in this area, in this neighborhood, I think this is, nothing unique is standing out to me. Like the lot depth is not there, but everything else is okay. And I'm just giving that as an example, right? Because sometimes visually something will look like it fits, but I think in this case here, this is just a little too much here. So for me to get on board with the applicant. So again, I appreciate the applicant's work on this and what they did to try to get here, but I don't see anything unique about the property at this point.
And just to throw in my comments, I do sympathize with what the owners are trying to do. It is a difficult housing market, and I am confident, as we saw from letters in support, that they keep their property well, they're good neighbors, and I'm sure that what they would propose would be a quality home and a good project. But I think I'm with really the rest of the members of the board. For me, the issues are that I don't find anything that is distinct about this property. Generally, in the cases where we have granted relief for creating a new lot in the past, it's very often a scenario where what's proposed doesn't meet zoning, but it is consistent with the overall character and density of the neighborhood. We will find that at times. Or, as noted, the deviation is relatively small, and it's still within the character of the area. In this case, the lot that's proposed is really fairly consistent with, the lot that exists is consistent with that and the surrounding area. So I don't see anything that distinguishes this lot from others, and I don't think what's proposed is consistent with the character of the area. So really, those are the two areas where I come down. Property values, I doubt will be negatively impacted, quite honestly. I do think substantial justice would be done, but I can't get to the other three criteria. Any other thoughts? Would anybody like to make a motion? Mr. Lino.
Make a motion on behalf of Matthew and Tessa Fian, owners, 121 Lily Road, Sheet B, Lot 969, requesting the following variances from Land Use Code Section 190-16, Table 16-3. 1, for existing Lot B 969 to allow existing house to encroach 5 feet into the 20-foot required right side yard setback for proposed Lot B 961-1. Yes. 2, minimum lot size 18,000 square foot required, 10,807 square feet proposed. 3, minimum lot frontage 100 feet required, 71 feet proposed. 4, minimum lot width 120 feet required, 71.3 feet proposed. And 5, minimum right and left side yard setback 20 feet required, 10 feet proposed for both. All request to subdivide one lot into 2 lots and construct a new single-family home. This is in the R18 zone, Ward 8. The board believes that granting the variance would be contrary to the public interest because it changes the character of the R18 zone. There was substantial objection from neighbors, direct neighbors, and so clearly there is public interest in not granting the request. We believe the spirit of the ordinance would not be observed because it is so many requests to exempt from the R18 zoning, and there's granting the variance would do substantial justice to the owners because they want to build a larger house, but they can do it another way. As far as values of surrounding properties would be diminished, we have testimony from some of the property owners, that some of the neighbors, that they believe it would. There's some disagreement among the board as to whether that's the case, but it does seem to be a possibility. And the thing is, there is no unnecessary hardship because there's no special conditions of the property that make it amenable to subdividing in this way and requiring so many variances. So there is a fair and substantial relationship between the general public purpose of the ordinance and the specific application of that provision to the property, because the R18 zone is for wider spacing of houses, larger lot sizes, and that the homeowners say, well, this is a transition because it borders a different zone. That doesn't change the properties of the R18 zone. So with all of that said, I make a motion to deny the variances.
Is there a second? Second by Mr. Neely. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor of the motion to deny? Sorry, so your application has been denied. As we did note, there is a 30-day window of appeal. So if you do wish to avail yourself of that, please feel free to reach out to Deputy Manager or Planning Manager, Mr. Falk. Would anybody like to take a break before we plow on to the next two cases? All right, we're going to take a 5-minute break before we resume for the last two cases.
Sure. That to me is the killer.
There's like 15 houses in the neighborhood. I looked at the GIS map, they're all like within 5 feet. That are all within 5 feet of the property line. There's probably 20 of them that are under 10
variances from Land Use Code Section 190-31. 1, to encroach 10 feet 1 inch into the 20-foot required front yard setback, and 2, to encroach 5 feet into the 6-foot required side yard setback to construct an 18 by 20 carport that's in the RB zone in Ward 3. And I'm assuming you are the applicant.
Yes. I'm the applicant. Well,
Excellent.
he is Gary. I am the contractor that built.
Excellent. So if you wouldn't mind just stating your name and address for the record.
It's Tim O'Regan, 14 Back River Road, Merrimack, New Hampshire. And
Do you want to just move that mic over a little bit so that you're speaking into it? Perfect.
all right. Let's see here. All right, so do you have any questions from you guys as far as what we're looking to do, or what do you guys currently have, or have you looked at as far as it's a carport that we're looking, the purpose of the carport, I assume it sounds like you guys look into this ahead of time and have a very good idea of what's going on. It's a car, his truck has basically a special gull-wing door from
Driver's side.
yeah, driver's side. It's just it's a veteran. It's like combat situations that have led to that he needs this, and it does not open inside his current garage. So demoing the garage in the just a few years old house versus building a carport, it makes a lot more sense to build the carport. There's many houses inside that neighborhood in the general vicinity that are not meeting what is required. I could pull up the GIS map as required, but there is quite a few that are within the setbacks. But yeah, I mean, it's as far as what you guys need. Let's see. Not contrary to the public interest, and I'm just gonna breeze through this in case, and if there's anything that, if I'm happy for you guys to interrupt me if you have any questions whatsoever. But not contrary to the public interest, the neighborhood has several homes essentially against the property line, including one of the abutters. Proposed use will absorb the spirit of the ordinance, and a quote, protecting the character of existing neighborhoods through zoning regulation and enforcement. As the structure is not abnormal to the neighborhood, it will support this. Substantial justice would be done to the property owner by granting this variance. The property owner is a U.S. veteran that has a specially equipped vehicle that can't be opened in his garage. I mean, that's most definitely, I think, about as high qualification as you can be. This is the least invasive way to make this work, you know. If inclement weather happens, we live in New Hampshire, it's be unpleasant to not be able to use your garage. Proposed use will not diminish values of surrounding properties. It's common for structures to be closer than what's currently allowed in this neighborhood. I mean, I'm not sure when the specific in Nashua, the zoning regulations were most recently changed, but much of these houses, Little Florida's down the street, all those houses are 50 years old. It's not, you know, there's very little houses in that neighborhood that are as new as his, or as, you know, that are actually to that regulation. All right, and we got, owing to special conditions that distinguish it from other properties in the area, denial of the variance would result in unnecessary hardship, because, and I mean, to access the garage and also to build the structure, it's the only location that works. I mean, it's not possible to build it anywhere else. You know, there's not any other places on the property that this could happen. There's not, it's a very reasonable need. Any questions whatsoever?
Yes, and if you, yeah, you can step up to the mic, or we could hand it down as well.
Emily Duvall, Gary's wife,
and I live at 54 Baldwin Street. As you see, my husband's in a wheelchair. He was in combat in Vietnam, and his legs were somewhat destroyed. He can walk a little bit, but not much, so he has a special vehicle. For him to access that vehicle, he cannot even go through the garage because there are steps. And for us to put in a ramp in there would actually reduce the size of the garage. So that was one thing, you know, and plus then there's the whole ceiling part when the wing lifts up. And you also have to have room for the special chair that goes in and out of the vehicle. Right now, he can access his vehicle from our front door because we have a ramp coming down. And he can go rain and snow and hail and really bad heat, he can access his vehicle. But that means also he's out in the elements when he is accessing that vehicle. We also have 3 vehicles always, his truck, my car, and our son, who's in his 20s, also has his vehicle there. He lives with us. So it would, honestly, I'll just tell you, it would be really nice not to have to plow on top of stones and things to get some of the vehicles out. So it's not a big, like massive garage. One side of it, our neighbor has a wall, like a fence. The other side, we have a neighbor who has the exact same house as us, and we're really good friends. He's fine with it. Yeah, all the neighbors are fine. And the folks across the street, their driveway is right across from us. And we didn't go through the process of getting letters. Maybe we should have, but they're just we're all kind of getting along pretty well there. Both houses, ours and our one neighbor's, have only been there for 4 years. So it's not like we've been like working on this situation for a long time, but it's just at that point where we're ready to move forward.
Anything else you'd like to add?
I think we got the, might as well just read out the last one for you. I mean, the proposed is a reasonable one. The purpose of the structure is to make it easier in the combat that difficult to serve. That's a pretty reasonable request in my eyes. But, yeah. You guys got everything you need?
Yes, any questions from the board? All right, unless there's something else you'd like to add, you're free to sit down.
Thank you.
Anybody in the audience who'd like to speak in favor of the application? Anybody in the audience who'd like to speak with questions, concerns, or opposition? I will note, we actually did receive one letter in support. This is from Dan and Julie of 55 Baldwin Street. This is Dan Van Kalken and Julie Chafee of 55 Baldwin Street. We are neighbors of Gary and Emily, and we would absolutely love for them to have their variances approved. They take great care of their property, and all requested variances are for a good use case. So you did get a letter. Any questions? I think there's nothing else to add, so I'm going to close the public hearing and open up the deliberations of the board. Thoughts from the board? Mr. Patry.
Yeah, this is very reasonable. I completely support this.
Any other thoughts? Mr. Nealing.
Yeah, so when I did a drive-by, my concern was if the neighbor from 33 Fairmont was going to show up, because this really goes up right against their fence. You know, it is interesting when you look at the overhead pictures, 33 Fairmont has quite a bit going on that lot, but it's forward on their lot, so it's away from this fence. 54 is a little bit negatively affected by the curvature of Baldwin Street. And their house is forward on the lot. They literally have no other place they can put any place that his vehicle be able to be covered, where the gull wing can open up. Every person should have a right to access their house. Every person should have the right to access their vehicles. We live in New Hampshire. It rains, it snows, it's hot, it's cold, and when it rains sideways. So I do believe that this gentleman should be granted the ability to have something that covers his vehicle. As we know, it is not quick and easy to get in and out of a vehicle when you're also putting a chair in and out. So he has an extended amount of time outside. This is going to reduce the possibility of any type of incident. So I'm fully in favor of this. Honestly, there's no other place you could put it besides the place they're requesting.
Other thoughts?
Yeah, I just note that for all the reasons stated, I agree. Anybody like to make a motion? Mr. Neely?
All right, I'd like to make a motion to approve the variance for Gary and Emily Duval, owners 54 Baldwin Street, sheet 62, lot 229, requesting the following variances from Land Use Code, section 190-31. Number 1, to encroach 10 feet 1 inch into the 20-foot required front yard setback, and number 2, to encroach 5 feet into the 6-foot required right side yard setback to construct an 18-foot by 20-foot carport. This is in the RB zone in Ward 3. Granting the variance would not be contrary to public interest, in that, as discussed, every person should have the ability to easily enter and exit their home as well as their vehicles. And in this case, the lot is set up in a way that there is only one place that a carport could be set up. The spirit of the ordinance would be observed in that the home, as noted, is set forward on the property, while the direct abutter at 33 Fairmont, their house is set quite far away from the fence line that this carport is going to be set up against. There is a fence there as well, so that we do believe that the neighbors at 33 Fairmont would not be negatively impacted. Granting the variance would do substantial justice in that the applicant does need to use a special vehicle with a gull wing. He cannot use his garage, relatively new house, so he does need someplace that covers his entrance and egress to the vehicle. And as noted, with an electric chair, it does take longer. So it is natural for folks in New Hampshire, specifically because of the weather, to have some type of way to cover their entrance and exit to the car in inclement weather. There is no reason to believe that the values of the surrounding properties would be diminished. In fact, we had testimony from the applicant that their direct neighbor at 52 was in favor. They have a very similar house, and we did receive a letter from the neighbor directly across the street at 55. And as to unnecessary hardship, this property is unique in that it is relatively new, and it is on a curve of Baldwin Street, which minimizes their front yard. They do have a very short driveway. It is normal to have 3 vehicles. They do have 3 vehicles. It's not like they have an excessive amount of vehicles, but this one vehicle does need to have extra space, both distance around it as well as height. And there is only one place on the property that this could fit. And so for those reasons, I make a motion to approve the variance.
Seconded by Mr. Boucher. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Your application passes. Good luck with your project.
Thank you. Thank you for your service, Mr. Duval.
And finally, the application of the Zacharopoulos Family Revocable Trust, Saleh Al-Harbi applicant, at 94 to 94 and a half Kinsley Street, requesting a use variance from Land Use Code Section 190-15, Table 15-1, to allow convenience store / smoke shop in the LV zone. Would you mind stating your name and address for the record?
You could just hold it if you wish.
Oh, that's fine. Oh, you might want to pull it up a little bit.
Lift up the arm.
There you go.
All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Hassan, and that's Salah Al-Harbi, that's my partner. First, I appreciate the opportunity to be able to speak. I'm requesting your approval for opening, convenience smoke shop in 94 Kinsley Street. Basically, my goal is to create, clean, professional, well-managed business that serves the daily needs of the community. In addition to tobacco products, the store will offer everyday convenience items such as beverages, drinks, snacks, and other essential stuff. Also, I understand as a business owner, I understand the importance of being responsible, and I'll strictly follow the local, state, federal laws, and try, make it as, safe, respectful, welcoming environment to the customers and community. Sorry. So I believe the business will provide convenience for local residents, maybe in future create jobs, contribute to the local economy, and just overall improve, I believe it's going to be positive impact on the community and on the property itself. And pretty much that's it.
Okay, questions from the board? Mr. Nealing?
So, I believe we wouldn't be here if you guys were just doing a convenience store, so.
Convenience and a smoke shop.
So I get that, that's why we're here, because it's a smoke shop, but a smoke shop is not allowed in the LB zone at all. So why not just do the convenience store and not do the smoke shop, and then you guys could open tomorrow?
But honestly, I've thought about it, but when I was talking with that's a landlord, I talked to him. Usually it used to be a convenience store before, and he told me that whatever the business owner, he only lasted, the couple of months, 5-6 months, and then they closed. I don't know, they didn't do well or anything. Plus the space, the store inside is very big space. So I thought, why not to add something and just, instead of opening a convenience that somebody have done before and left, maybe I should add something and, add to it.
So question for staff.
Same question.
So we have a couple things going on here, and maybe I'm a little confused by what's going on in the application, what's written up here. So are we here just because a tobacco shop is not allowed in the LB zone? This has nothing to do with the 1,000 feet ordinance that's attached to this. Are we here for that as well?
I don't believe there's any of the other uses within 1,000 feet that are against the ordinance. We just put that in there just so you know that there are certain uses that you can't have within 1,000 feet.
Sure.
Like another vape shop, even though, honestly, all convenience stores, well, not all, but gas stations, 7-Elevens, they all sell these products.
Right.
So it's the vape shop is not allowed in this zone is what it is, really what it is. The convenience store would be allowed. They had one there in the past for many years, and like the applicant said, they shut down for a while, open up, and I used to go to the laundromat across the street, or the dry cleaners across the street, so I used to see it being closed. But so it's really the vape shop is what they're really here for.
So, I'm sorry, if I can do one more question, because I think we're gonna ask the same thing. So, I get it, every convenience store sells it, and that's fine, I'm in favor of that. Are we just here because they're calling it a smoke shop? So if they just said convenience store but sold what every other convenience store is selling, we just wouldn't be here, right?
Well, I mean, they're
It's because
at
we
least
call it a
being honest
tobacco
by
store.
telling us, and they're being transparent and telling us exactly what they're doing, which,
Okay.
is appreciated by us, because they're telling us the truth of what they want, so they're just being upfront and honest with what they want. I mean, we'd rather have them do that, come in and, be open and honest what they want, than open up a convenience store, and then we find out that half the store is a vape shop. So they're doing it the right way, they're applying, the correct way, that's why they're here.
So vapes are the trigger. If cigarettes are okay, it's the vapes that trigger, that
vape,
the-
That is the vapes.
So basically, it's the nicotine delivery method.
It seems that almost on every corner, there's a vape shop.
Yeah.
I guess, Michael, it's sort of like Dunkin' Donuts. It's, you can't walk 2 minutes without running into one. So I'm not quite sure that You think that the business, the neighborhood could support another one, but hey, that's their problem.
Mr. Neely?
So question back to the applicant. So by smoke shop, are we saying that folks are sitting in the shop using the nicotine products as a smoke shop? I'm sorry, I'm just not familiar with smoke shop. So are you just selling it to them and they walk away, or is it they're sitting in there with 16 seats and just smoking
No,
away?
we're just selling.
You're just selling?
Like vapes. and all.
So it's a convenience store, okay.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, I appreciate that.
Got it. Okay. Clearly, is there anybody in the audience who wishes to speak in favor of this application?
I came from New York,
Yeah.
so I'm waiting for them. I'm the owner. I own the building there.
Would you just mind stating your name and your address?
My name is Vasilios Zaharopoulos, and I live in 37 Syrian Ave in Nashua. I was there for 37 years in a restaurant, so I sold it with a pandemia because I have a hard time to find it. I rented for, people rented for 3 months, 4 months, and always empty. It's, that, like you guys say, nobody's gonna smoke there, and I don't want any problems in my building. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, well, seeing no one else, I'm going to close the public hearing and open up deliberations of the board. Mr. Neely?
So maybe a question to Mr. Falk. Do we have the ability, once we get into depending on what the discussion goes, do we have the ability to make one of the criteria that there's no consuming of product on the property?
You could make that a criteria or a stipulation, but it's up to them to monitor it and maintain it. And, if someone does vaping inside their store, I don't know what they could do other than tell them that they have to leave.
I think, okay, thank you.
It would just be, for code enforcement to monitor that and to check on that, they'd have to pretty much be in there a lot to see that.
I understand what you're saying. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Patry?
Valid concern, though, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't like Castro's or like, this is like every other business, like you can't smoke inside, I think is.
Right.
Like, it just, smoke shop, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, it just means that you're just selling the things and, I mean, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Thoughts from the board? I'm in favor simply because I think this is essentially a convenience store that's selling tobacco products, which is pretty much what they all do. It's, in that sense, I think it's consistent with the neighborhood and all of the other stores that we see kind of doing the same thing. Granted, they're being more upfront on the smoke shop aspect of it. But beyond that, it doesn't strike me as inconsistent with the character of the area.
I think at most it would probably affect whatever the sign is they put outside.
Right. They're not within 1,000 feet, apparently, of a church or a school, and we don't appear to have any opposition.
Yeah, I think, we just heard these folks from New York. Maybe the verbiage is a little different in New York versus what it is here. But, this sounds like a convenience store. Honestly, I didn't realize all these places aren't supposed to be selling nicotine, so that was eye-opening here tonight. So I'm in favor of this. This is kind of a no-brainer. We heard from the owner, he wants to get his building filled. It needs to be filled, I get it. I think it's the pizza shop next door. They will, those are businesses that will actually help each other probably. Listen, is there a bunch of other convenience stores in the area? Possibly, but I do think that actually would do pretty well right there. So I'm certainly in favor of this as what we know as a convenience store.
Right. Any other thoughts? Anybody want to make a motion? I'll do it. Oh, you want to do it?
I can go either way. I'll take it. Yeah, I'll
All
take
right,
it.
you
That's
take
fine. Thanks. I'd like to make a motion to approve the variance for the Zacharopoulos Family Revocable Trust owners, Salah Al-Harbi applicant, 94 to 94 and a half Kinsley Street, sheet 94, lot 15, requesting use variance from Land Use Code, section 190-15, table of 15-1, number 137, to allow a convenience store / smoke shop in the LB zone. This is in the LB zone in Ward 6. Granting the variance would not be contrary to the public interest because convenience stores aren't normal in the LB zone. As stated by the owner of the building, he's interested in having these folks in the building as well because he's had a hard time renting this building. We do want to get that filled as a building owner. The spirit of the ordinance would be observed in that as we had more discussion, this very much mirrors what we know as a convenience store, not really a smoke shop. As we know, smoke shops usually, as noted by Mr. Patry, something like Castro's where they actually smoke on premises. That is not the case here for our understanding. Granting the variance would do substantial justice to both the applicant and the owner of the building in that they are trying to open a business in an area where they can, where a convenience store should do pretty well. The substantial justice to the owner of the building who supports this as well is that he'll be filling a space that has been open, and as we always want to try to assist small business owners to have a successful business. There is no reason to think that the value of the surrounding properties would be diminished, and as to unnecessary hardship, we did hear from the owner of the building that he's had some issues in the past keeping businesses in this space. He does feel that these folks opening this convenience store have a better shot to keep it open. It does come down to the fact we probably would not have been here seeking a variance if it had been called a convenience store and not a smoke shop. And I do believe there's just an understanding issue between all of us about what exactly type of shop they were trying to put in there. So we do not think that they're the special condition of the property was actually the application is for a convenience store, and the fact that we talked about smoke shop really changed it to a hardship, which after discussion we have decided is really not really the case. There will be no consuming a product on premises. So for those reasons, I make a motion to approve the variance.
Is there a second? Second by Mr. Patry. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Variance request is granted. Good luck with your business.
Good luck, guys. Have a good night, guys.
Good night. All right. Has everybody had a chance to review the agenda that was emailed out to us for the next meeting? Anybody see any regional impact?
Nope.
I do not either. Minutes. So we have minutes from the June 23rd meeting. Changes, edits, Mr. Patry.
So page 2, the second line, where it says, first at the home, comma, and realized, I think between and realized, we want to put they, and they realized the snow melting off. And then the second paragraph on page 2, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, seventh line down where it says setback comma, I think we want to say they instead decided to apply for the variance, and then maybe cross out the instead after. There was just wording was a bit off, I think. And I think I have just 1 or 2 more minor changes. Page 10, at the bottom, speaking in opposition, the 1, 2, 3, 4. The third line down, where he said, the end of it, where he said that he was not approached in that email thread. I think we want to say he was not addressed in that email thread. And then my only other change, page 13. Mr. Armani said it is correct. I think we would want to add correct comma that it would not change. And then my final change is the approval of the June 9th minutes. I don't think we had any changes to those. I think we approved those as
we did
as drafted. So.
So I get rid of the
Yeah.
aforementioned.
Yeah, because those I
provision.
think
Okay.
we didn't have any changes. So I move we approve with those. That's
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? I'm going to abstain because I wasn't here. Any other business?
Yes, here's a little bit of other business.
Okay.
So, on July 31st, I'll be retiring from the city.
Congratulations.
And,
Oh, my goodness.
Well, that is, yeah. So the next meeting will be my last one.
Whoa.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness.
So, I'm not sure who's gonna take my place, but I guess we'll all soon find out.
So,
Probably see Sam sitting here until then.
Probably, my guess, but I'm not sure.
Wow, I can't believe it.
well, congratulations, that's
I
exciting.
mean, I should believe it, obviously.
28 years here.
Wow.
Is a lot.
It's a long time. and-
Wow.
Can we move to formally thank you for your service, Carter, and to appreciate your dedication to the city?
Anybody want to second that?
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
I would say that's unanimous, right? Seriously, you are,
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
honestly. you
Appreciate
are-
the kind words.
Deeply missed.
I'm back.
Oh,
Yes.
I just want to ask you about something. So, because you know, like,
oh, come back up to the mic so we got you on the record, yeah.
so you know, like the laws is here different than New York. So, I don't know. I'm new to here, you know. I just want like, what's like the next step now? Like, do I need a permit license or for the business?
Why don't you come by our office and we can talk to you about that? Okay, it's gonna either be an admin review. I don't think you'll have to go to the planning board with a site plan. It's probably gonna be an admin review because nothing is gonna be changing outside.
Yeah.
But if you wanna come by our office, I don't know how much longer you're gonna be in town for.
I'm going back to New York tonight.
Okay.
But that's why I could come up anytime.
I'll give you a call. I have your.
I get your email too. If I'll just
Okay,
text you.
we'll
on
communicate by either email or phone. And I'll
Alright.
call you either tomorrow or Thursday.
All right, sounds good.
All right.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. So, anyway, so yeah, it was a long, hard decision to make, but it was,
Congratulations.
Seriously, congratulations.
You
Thank you
are
very much.
actually retiring?
I am actually retiring.
Yeah.
Wow.
Best decision I ever made.
Yeah.
Does your wife know that yet?
My wife is my age, we're both the same age, and she's gonna keep working for another year or two. And maybe we can turn off, or just.
Oh, yeah, should we adjourn?
Yes, yes.
Motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Excellent.